Kathy Fox Alfano of the Board of Trustees at the Jonathan Bourne Library. I'm here to start the first of what I hope is many Bourne Community Reads. With COVID, it looks like we're not going to be able to do in-house programming over the winter, so I'm hoping that we can do a weekly Community Reads. Here's the first one in time for Christmas. 'Twas the night before Christmas. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When what? Out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave her the luster of midday to objects below. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before a wild hurricane fly, when met with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back. He looked just like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose and giving a nod up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night." Merry Christmas! And next we have one of my favorite Christmas stories, A Charlie Brown Christmas, by Charles Schulz. Christmas time was here, the time when snowflakes fell softly and the sounds of carols rang through the air. It was a time full of happiness, and for children everywhere, it was their favorite time of year. But one little boy wasn't feeling very excited about Christmas. "I just don't understand Christmas," Charlie Brown said, as a light snow began to fall. "I might be getting presents and sending Christmas cards and decorating trees, but I'm still not happy. I always end up feeling depressed." "You're the only person I know who could take a wonderful season like Christmas and turn it into a problem," Linus replied. "Lucy's right. Of all the Charlie Browns in the world, you're the Charlie Browniest." At the local skating pond, the boys found their friends playing a game of crack the whip. Snoopy grabbed Linus's blanket to drag him onto the ice, but he caught Charlie Brown and sent him flying into a snowbank. Charlie Brown wasn't surprised. Things like this always happened to him. And on holiday season, when he couldn't get cards and even his own dog ignored him, it only made it more obvious. He needed someone to talk to. Lucy dashed over to her psychiatric booth to meet Charlie Brown. "May I help you?" she said. "I'm in sad shape," Charlie Brown replied with a sigh. "My trouble is Christmas. I just don't understand it. And instead of feeling happy, I feel sort of let down." Lucy knew just how to fix Charlie Brown's problem. "You need to get involved with a Christmas project," she declared. "How would you like to be the director of our Christmas play?" "Me? But I don't know anything about directing a Christmas play," Charlie Brown said. "Don't worry, I'll be there to help you," Lucy said. "I'll meet you at the auditorium." Just then, Snoopy walked past carrying a box filled with decorations. Charlie Brown followed Snoopy back to his doghouse. "What's going on here?" Charlie Brown asked. Snoopy handed him a flyer. Charlie Brown read, "Find the true meaning of Christmas. Win money, money, money at the spectacular super colossal lights and display contest." "Oh no, even my dog has gone commercial. I can't stand it." Charlie Brown threw the flyer onto the ground. On his way to the auditorium, he ran to his sister, Sally. "I've been looking for you, big brother," she said sweetly. Sally knew exactly what she wanted, but her list was so long. She decided it'd be easier just to ask for money. "How about 10s and 20s?" she said. "10s and 20s? Oh no, even my baby sister!" Charlie Brown groaned. Surely Christmas was more than money and presents. In the auditorium, the whole Peanuts gang danced to a jazzy tune that Schneider played on the piano. Charlie Brown walked onto the stage. "Let's get right down to work," he said. "It's important that you pay strict attention to the director. Am I right? I said, am I right?" Nobody paid any attention to Charlie Brown. They just started dancing again. "Stop this minute," Charlie Brown yelled. "We're going to do this play, and we're going to do it right. Lucy, pass out those scripts and costumes." One by one, the kids found out their roles in the play. Frida would play the innkeeper's wife. Pigpen would play the innkeeper. Shermie would play the shepherd. Snoopy would play all the characters in the script that were animals. Maybe some that weren't. "Let's rehearse the scene at the inn," directed Charlie Brown. "Let's take it from the top. Places, action." But once more, the kids just started dancing and fooling around, and Charlie Brown just rolled his eyes. "That does it," Charlie Brown exclaimed. "If we're ever going to get this play off the ground, we've got to have some cooperation." "Let's face it," Lucy said. "We all know Christmas is just a big commercial racket." "Well, this is one play that's not going to be commercial," Charlie Brown insisted. "We need the proper mood. We need a Christmas tree." Lucy said excitedly, "Yes, a big, shiny aluminum Christmas tree. That's it, Charlie Brown. You get the tree, I'll handle this crowd." "Okay, I'll take Linus with me. The rest of you, practice your lines." "Get the biggest tree you can find, Charlie Brown," called Lucy. "Yeah, do something right for a change, Charlie Brown," added Peppermint Patty, as the boys walked back into the cold winter night. They followed a set of gleaming spotlights to the Christmas tree lot. It was filled with shiny metal trees, polka dotted trees, trees in every color of the rainbow. Clank, clank, clank. Linus knocked on one of the metal trees. Gee, do they make wonderful Christmas trees? He hadn't seen anything like that in a Christmas tree lot. Then Charlie Brown spotted a small, straggly pine tree. It had a wooden trunk and soft green needles. "This little green one here seems to need a good home," he said. "I don't know, Charlie Brown. Remember what Lucy said. That doesn't seem to fit the spirit." "I don't care," Charlie Brown said. "We'll decorate it, and it'll be just right for our play. Besides, I think it needs me." Soon Charlie Brown and Linus walked back into the stage. "We're back," Charlie Brown announced and set up the tree on top of Schroeder's piano. When the kids rushed over to see the tree, their mouths dropped in shock. The scraggly little tree was not what they had expected. "You were supposed to get a good tree. Can't you even tell a good tree from a poor tree?" Lucy asked. "You're hopeless, Charlie Brown," said Peppermint Patty. Charlie Brown sighed. "I shouldn't have picked a little tree. Everything I do turns into a disaster. I guess I really don't know what Christmas is all about." "Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?" he exclaimed. "Sure, Charlie Brown," said Linus. "I'll tell you what it is." He crossed to the center of the stage, and the lights dimmed and the spotlight shone about him, and he told the Christmas story. Charlie Brown picked up the tree and walked outside. He stared up into the night sky. "Linus is right. I won't let this commercialism ruin my Christmas. I'll take this little tree home and decorate it, and I'll show them it will really work in our play." When he passed Snoopy's doghouse, Charlie Brown pulled a red ornament off the doghouse and hung it on the tree. But the tiny tree buckled under the weight of this ornament. A look of horror crossed Charlie Brown's face. "I've killed it. Oh, everything I touch is ruined." He hung his head in defeat. Charlie Brown sadly walked away. But then the rest of the Peanuts gang arrived. "I never thought it was such a bad little tree," Linus said. He straightened the tree's bent trunk and wrapped his blanket around it. "It's not so bad at all. It just needs a little love." Without speaking, the other kids took their lights and ornaments off Snoopy's doghouse and used them to decorate. Before long, they had transformed it into a beautiful Christmas tree. Charlie Brown walked up to the group and barely recognized the tree. "What's going on here?" he exclaimed. And together, gathered around the beautiful Christmas tree, they all began to sing. "Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown!" And Merry Christmas to everyone. Dear Santa, I know it looks bad, but it wasn't my fault. By Norma Lewis. December 15th. Dear Santa, I've been an outstanding cat all year. I was never a picky eater. I tried new food in front of me. I always finished my dinner. And I only ate Miss Violet's cake once. Sometimes I played too rough with our canary, Caruso, but he started it. Okay, about my Christmas gift. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but a cat can't have too many catnip mice. I like catnip as much as anyone. But every year Miss Violet helps me open my present and then wants me to act like a total doofus over a stupid pink mouse. It's hard to hold my dignity. So this year, may I instead have Catman and Robin video game? The one where they break up the catnip smuggling ring? That sounds perfect. Your friend, Scallywag. December 16th. Dear Santa, you might have heard a different story, but this is what really happened, and it wasn't my fault. Miss Violet let Caruso out of his cage while she cleaned it. He flew onto my tail, and I cuddled him, but I called him Bird Brain, because he's a bird after all. So I grabbed him. What's wrong with that? I'd never eat him. I'd much rather have a tuna than a yucky canary. Who wants a mouthful of feathers anyway? Not me. So Caruso was flying around the room when Miss Violet's friend Mitzi dropped by. She spotted a canary feather on my chin and hollered, "Scallywag ate Caruso!" I scooted outside because Mitzi's screaming made my head hurt. Remember, I didn't leave the door open. That was Mitzi. And I now know that the real thing next door is a sandbox for kids. But it looked like a litter box for cats. Just my luck, I got caught using it. Before I knew it, the neighbor had me by the scruff of my neck. And of course, he tattled. Caruso was back in his cage by then. He smirked at me, and then went back to admiring himself in the mirror. Some folks think cats have an attitude. We don't hold a candle to canaries. Don't forget my video game. Your friend, Scallywag. December 17th. Dear Santa, something terrible happened today, but it wasn't my fault. I was helping Miss Violet. Honest, I was. She left a little milk in the pitcher, so I cleaned it out for her. And when I was done, I was stuck. If you've ever gotten stuck in something, you know that I am not the victim here. I am the victim here. Caruso squawked until Miss Violet came. She grabbed me, pitcher and all, and ran out the door. A police officer saw her running and gave us a ride. That was cool, except for the pitcher. Dr. Tim, our vet, said okay, but Mitzi works in his office, and she gave me a dirty look. I didn't get stuck on purpose. I was helping Miss Violet. Then they put me on a metal table. It was cold, and gave me a shot. Dr. Tim said it would help me relax. You try relaxing with a needle in your butt and a pitcher on your head. Dr. Tim greased my neck with something goopy, and the pitcher slipped off. Phew! But then things got worse. They gave me a bath. Finally, we could leave. Of all the cats in the world, how did you get stuck with him, Mitzi asked Miss Violet. I'm just lucky, I guess, Miss Violet said. After all, don't you think I deserve the Catman and Bat-Robin video game? Now, your friend, Scallywag. December 18th. Dear Santa, I know it looks bad, but it wasn't my fault. Even outstanding cats have bad days. Today was a doozy. Miss Violet never got angry with me about the pitcher or the sandbox, and I wanted to make her happy and put on a show. I found a red mouse. Remember, I have plenty. I bathed it, I rolled with it, I chewed on it, and I batted it again. Miss Violet laughed herself silly. Even Mitzi smiled. It was worth losing a little of my dignity. We got along great, Miss Violet and me. We would never want to hurt her. So I batted the mouse a little too hard. That may be how it got on the tree. Of course, I went after it because I'm a cat. Scallywag's climbing the tree, yelled Mitzi. Tattletale. The tree wobbled. Miss Violet reached out to catch me. Crash. Crash. Candy canes flew, ornaments fell, glass shattered, and the tree tipped over onto Miss Violet. But Santa, she was only unconscious for a little while, honest. And about the candle, I'm not really sure who bumped the table. It might have been me. The fire never spread beyond the tablecloth. Except for searching the table, they found a tiny hole in the rug. Did I tell you the smoke detector went off? And the cat did it, Mitzi told the firefighters. The cat did it, the firefighters told the paramedics. Get rid of that cat, they all said. Yes, Scallywag has to go, said Mitzi. Oh, nonsense, said Miss Violet. Since Scallywag moved in, I have fun. I laugh. He warms my feet at night. He keeps me company all day. And if that's not a good cat, what is? Of course he's mischievous. I named him Scallywag, didn't I? If I wanted a boarding cat, I would have called him Fred. December 24th. Dear Santa, so don't bring me Catman and Robin video game or anything else. Instead, please bring Miss Violet a new Christmas tree and ornaments. Did I mention all hers are broken? She loves the ones that look like nutcrackers. Your friend, Scallywag.